How could I tell a friend to not touch her boyfriend before marriage?
Did she go to a religious school or did she go to public school? She went to a religious school? Okay, so first, she obviously didn't learn anything good in this religious school. Because that's the number one reason of why Jewish parents and non-Jewish parents send their daughters to religious schools, is for the sake of them understanding that they have to preserve themselves until marriage. And this is actually both for Jews and non-Jews. You know, the non-Jews that send their kids to private school, Catholic schools and Christian schools and so on, they specifically send their girls to all girls schools, specifically because they want to protect the kid from themselves, from being with somebody before marriage. And unfortunately, in today's world, that is such an upside down world that in today's world, the teachers teach you the opposite. Meaning, they tell the girls and the boys that you should be promiscuous before marriage. Because how do you know you want to really marry him? Until you try it out. How do you know you only want to marry him and maybe not him? How do you know you want to marry her until not her? The teachers teach you the exact opposite of what morality is. In both private and public schools sometimes. Now, in a Jewish school, it's obviously supposed to be the upper echelon of all schools. But if the girl went to school and she still is promiscuous with a guy before marriage, obviously there's something very, very wrong with the foundation of her ideology, which is the teaching that she got from her parents as well as from the school. They're both at fault. Why? Because any kid that got the proper education, simply that is not in the cards. I met a woman that, Baruch Hashem, we helped her convert. By the time she converted, she was a Christian in her previous life. And by the time she converted, I believe she was 32, 33 years old. 100% a virgin. Never even kissed another boy. Never kissed another boy. 32 years. Now, with the exception of the idolatry, that's a success. Why? Because when you teach your kid the right things, there's no such option as being promiscuous in any shape or form before marriage. Because you consider your intimacy sacred, and you're not going to give it for free on the streets because he's cute. So that means that this Christian girl that became a very Jewish, righteous woman, Baruch Hashem, she got a much better education, much better upbringing than unfortunately a Jewish girl did in her own backyard that now has a boyfriend, and many Jewish girls have boyfriends. So that already shows there's a problem with the ideology. That's the problem. That's the diagnosis. Solution is you have to fix their ideology. And the only way to fix the ideology is with new education that's going to, first of all, prove to her that her current ideology is wrong, and to, in essence, brainwash her. Brainwash her from all the filth she has in her head, that she thinks it's okay to be promiscuous before marriage. She thinks it's okay to hold hands with some stranger. She thinks it's okay to kiss. She thinks it's okay to wear whatever she wants. She thinks it's okay. And the reason why she thinks it's okay is because she doesn't really believe or think that there's a punishment or a consequence for our actions. So the only way to truly change a person is by re-education. They have to listen to the shiurim that we say here and the ones that we have online and get re-educated. Now, to get a person to listen to this stuff requires a little bit of effort. So you have to not give up on them. You have to send them the clips, the 5-10 minute clips that I have about modesty or today's shiur. You send it to them so they get re-educated and start looking at the world from a different perspective. Because every woman, no matter where she ends up, starts off with usually having some dignity and some self-respect. And every woman does not want the world to insult her or to abuse her or take advantage of her. Every normal human being does. Now, a woman that holds herself at such a standard, if she for herself thinks about her own promiscuity, her own immodesty, for more than a moment, she'll realize how wrong she is. I'll give you an example. There was one time secular guy, Israeli guy, that went with his wife, girlfriend. They were living together. They went to the beach in Israel. And you know, when you're not exactly the most religious, you go to the beach, you don't wear clothes there. So, you know, she wore that bathing suit that's pretty much underwear. And they were sitting on the beach with the rest of his friends. You know, the whole tribe was there. Everybody was there hanging on the beach. They were barbecuing. They're having a good time. Playing matkot, these little pad ball thingy with the racket ball, whatever it's called. Kicking a soccer ball, jumping in the water, taking a tan, having a good time. You know, Shomer Negiah, good time. Okay, they're having a good time. Now, unlike America, in Israel, you don't have to make an appointment in order to visit somebody's house. You know, today in America, if you want to go visit somebody, you have to make an appointment 2 weeks in advance. Listen, we're having a dinner on Thursday, March 3rd. You think you're going to be able to come at 8 o'clock? When is that? It's 3 weeks from now, 4 weeks from now. In Israel, it's different. In Israel, you just show up at somebody's house. Hey, you're home. You want to have a coffee? Okay, yalla, come on, let's go. That's it. That's how it is. That's how it is. You know, there's no appointments. You just show up to people's houses. It's very normal there. Like if you live in Israel and somebody shows up at your house, don't get taken back. That's normal. That means they like you. If no one shows up at your house, that means they don't like you. Well, but that's how it is, especially in the secular world. So family, friends, they just show up at your house. That's how it works. Now in America, they're so like appropriate and politically correct. You have to make appointments. Oh, do you have availability in 2022 on the 1st of the month in August? You have to make appointments. Oh, let me see my calendar. Calendar. No, I think I'm taking my kids to the park on that day. Yeah, I don't think I can meet you there. Yeah, no, it's a park. It's a really important day for the kids. There's a park there. There's grass. And the kids like the grass. Can't eat on that day. You have to look at the grass all day. So, the ludicrous of people's behavior is funny, but it's true. So now, in Israel, back to the story. In Israel, they were on a beach. They're hanging out on the beach. They're having a barbecue, making all types of sins that Hashem Yirachem Aleinu, hopefully they do tshuva. And now, in the afternoon, 3, 4 o'clock, they finish on the beach. They go home. So the guy takes his girl home, and they get to the house, and she when she leaves, she gets up to the beach. She puts on a robe, to cover herself. Gets in the car, and they go home. Once she gets home, she takes off the robe. She walks around in the same thing she walked around in the bathing suit in the beach. She walks around. All of a sudden, the door is knocking. So she runs to go open the door. So little Reuben always says, "Hey, what are you doing? Hey, what are you doing?" She goes, "What? There's a couple of people at the door. I think it's Yaakov and Steve." Goes, "Put something on." He says Reuben says, "Put something on. What are you doing?" She goes, "What do you mean put something on? All day I've been in this bathing suit. What's the difference?" He goes, "Mom, we're on the beach over there." He goes, "Yes." She says, "Yeah, but there's 30,000 people on the beach. This is just 2 people. Why is this wrong and that's right? Why is that right and this wrong? Why?" He thought about it for a second. They're both wrong. But he, in his own crooked mind, thought that just because everyone's naked on the beach, I'm allowed to be naked. And no one's naked at the house, and over there I'm not allowed to be naked. Wrong. Satan, Malach HaMavet, Yetzirah, all at the same time. Wrong ideology. A woman that understands that when she walks around immodest and she shows parts of her body, whether it's her thigh or any other part of her body, to just strangers, she is in essence selling herself for free. Free for all to look at. Free for all to enjoy, without payment, without commitment, without any reason whatsoever, just to enjoy your beauty that you, in essence, promised to your husband. Everybody else gets to see what he's the only one that's privy to. He's the only one that paid for it. He's the only one that committed to it. But you're showing your beauty to every guy, and Hashem Yachem, your guy, your husband, he's allowing it. He's actually encouraging it. But if you thought about it for a second, you'd realize that you're both wrong. Why? Because you realize that, hey, you're not supposed to be naked in the house, you're not supposed to be naked on the beach. But you never thought about it. Never thought about it until Hashem gave you shat ratzon, a little moment where there's your brain is awake. So the point is that right now this kid, this friend of yours, or whoever it is, and millions of others like her, they're in a circumstance where they have a ideology that is simply wrong. And the only way to fix that is by showing her that she is a princess. How do we know she's a princess? God created her, and he says, you're my daughter. God is the King of Kings. If she's his daughter, she's the princess of the King of Kings. And the King of Kings doesn't walk around with a miniskirt, doesn't walk around with a bikini, doesn't walk around half naked or naked, whatever it is, doesn't give herself to some filthy guy to touch her, even if he's a nice guy. Why? You want to touch me? Marry me. You want to touch me? Marry me. You want to give me a kiss on the cheek? Marry me. Oh, you don't want to marry me? Don't touch me then. Why? I'm not for free. I'm not for free. That's the thing. Rabotai, I'm sorry to give you this example, but even the prostitute costs money. Even the prostitute costs money. How come you're giving yourself for free? Why, you're less than a prostitute? What's the matter with people? What's the matter? How come you're giving yourself for free? A Bat Yisrael Kedosha. A Bat Yisrael Kedosha, a holy woman, created by Kadosh Baruch Hu's hands himself. How come you're giving yourself for free for some filthy guy with a nice hairdo? For what? For what? You want to touch me? Marry me. You don't want to marry me? Go find yourself a new friend. Go smash your head against the wall a few times. What do I care? Rabotai, you have to understand you're worth a fortune. $1 billion is not even a down payment for a Bat Yisrael. $1 billion is not even a down payment for 5 minutes with a Bat Yisrael. For any man to touch your hand, he has to be willing to give his life up. That's what you have to understand. You don't appreciate yourself at all. You treat yourself worse than a prostitute by giving yourself up for free. That's the reality. And now you don't even have to just allow him to touch you. Allow him to look at you, and you're showing him all your goods. You're walking around half naked. Everybody can see. Just enjoy the looks for free. Are you worse than a stripper? You're worse than a dancer. You're worse than these filthy people in Hollywood. They charge $20 million for you to look at them. How come you're for free? You want to look at me? You got to marry me. That should be a policy of every single woman. Value yourself as priceless because you are. You are a Kadosh Baruch Hu's daughter. No one other than your husband that has committed his life is allowed to touch you or even see you in an immodest way. No one. Your husband, no problem. Allowed. Enjoy. Why? He's sacrificing for it. He's committing to it. No problem. And even if he starts messing around, starts fooling your eyes, he's not allowed also. He has to meet the contract. He signed a contract. It's called Ketubah. He doesn't meet the contract, he also doesn't get to look and see. Why? You're a Bat Yisrael. Priceless is not enough. Treat yourself as such, then you'll be as such. You'll be treated in Shamayim as such. But if you treat yourself worse than a prostitute, worse than a zonah, then that's what the Torah describes a girl that's immodest, by the way. That's what the Torah describes a girl that's promiscuous before marriage as a zonah. That's what it calls her. Zonah also means prostitute. Why? Why treat yourself like that? For what? What do they do to earn your whole life? For what? And that's what you have to explain to this young girl. She just doesn't value herself. She never thought about it because she got the wrong perspective from maybe her parents, maybe the school, maybe the environment. She never saw herself. She thought that to be a strong woman, you need to be, a promiscuous woman, a woman that's everywhere, a woman that's, socialite, they call it. It's the opposite. The most valuable, precious women in the world are the most reserved. Sarai Imenu did not walk around with a miniskirt. Sarai Imenu did not allow Avraham to touch her before marriage. That's who you want to be like. And you can. Even if you messed up before, you can start now. You didn't know till today? Start today. You can become Sarai Imenu today. One decision, that's it. All the imadas clothes, burned, garbage. Don't sell them, don't give them to anybody. Just because you're not making a sin doesn't mean that other people should make sins. You're not allowed to make sins, they're not allowed to make sins. All the imadas clothes, burned, ripped, garbage, right away. Like you're destroying Avodah Zarah. I know a woman that when she took on modesty, she took all of our clothes and she burned them right on Purim. Why? In Purim there's a special mitzvah to destroy Amalek. She says, this is my Amalek. I said, you're 100% right. Rabbi Ephraim said, you're 100% right. You're fulfilling the mitzvah of destroying Amalek by destroying the Imada's clothes. We're talking about tens of thousands worth of clothes. Heels from here to Jamaica, clothes that, all types of things. Tens of thousands worth of dollars. Destroyed Amalek. Baruch Hashem, she got blessed fortune. Kadosh Baruch Hu pays cash. When a woman takes on modesty, she is, in essence, taking on herself not just modesty, majesty. Why? You're a princess now. But when you walk around like a Shem Yirachem, your whole body showing to the world. Everybody doesn't need any imagination anymore. You're not a majesty. Opposite. You're worse than a servant. Why do that to yourself? For what? Why are you punishing yourself? The more you value yourself the right way, the more they will value you not only in this world but also in the next world. The less you value yourself, the less people will value you. She has the wrong mentality. She never heard this probably in her life. But if she did once, maybe twice, maybe a few more times, I promise you that little by little, she will start looking at things from a different perspective. The other aspect of it is also knowing that there is a consequence for our actions, meaning there's a punishment for sins. Hashem says immodesty and immorality, promiscuity is punished. And the punishment is very, very heavy. The average Jew today does not know about punishment. She needs to know about it. So there's different short clips you could send her that I talk about punishment, or there's a shiur about Gehenom that I have. Whatever you want to send her, you have to use your own judgment as far as what her reaction is. If you see that she's into it, you keep sending her more clips. She's more into it, send her longer shiurim. But don't overthink about, oh, this is too strong, this is not too strong. Whatever you see, send. Don't do too much calculation, but start sending on a regular basis to brainwash her literally of the filth that's in her mind. Because that filth is literally turning her into something that she's not. She's a Bat Israel, she's majesty. But she's treating herself like a servant. She doesn't know it. Because all the other people are treating themselves like servant. So she thinks that she's fitting in. Opposite. She's supposed to be above. And if a woman did that, she can get to Ruach HaKodesh. If she just understood what her value is.